Now we're live. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the NBA Strategy Show, Thursday, October 23rd. We here, folks. Just a two-gamer today. We don't have to go too crazy. We had a monster yesterday. Now today, we're back. Just two games. That's not what we need to talk about, though. I wanted to talk a little bit about the Clippers-Jazz game. Before we get started, I'm Josh Engleman. Like, subscribe, notification bell, do that stuff right now. We got a lot to talk about. We got a full hour to go, but in case you didn't pay attention to the news so far, Terry Rozier got picked up this morning, arrested for that gambling story that we were used to last year. So did Chauncey Billups. Yo. What do we got going on here? First of all, kudos to ESPN for picking this picture for Chauncey Billups, looking confused, mildly disheveled, whatever. Welcome to the FBI Strategy Show. For real, Greg Ehrenberg is not feeling safe today. He's going to be suspiciously not on a call we have in a couple hours, is my guess. I mean, I thought the Terry Rozier stuff was gone. I certainly didn't see Chauncey Billups getting popped here today. I obviously don't know where this goes. This could be anything. But, ooh, boy. Very interesting way to start the day in the NBA. And then we think about what we got yesterday. The Utah Jazz beat the shit out of the Clippers. I opened that up in the first quarter and they were up by like 25. Walker Kessler didn't miss yesterday. 11 true shot attempts, 11 makes, 22 points for Walker Kessler. I mean, this got ugly. It got real ugly. They were massive dogs. And per dunks and threes, by the 3-minute mark of the first quarter, 9 minutes into this game, the Jazz had already turned it into a coin flip. And by the time they got to halftime, they were bigger favorites than the Clippers were before the game started. Just craziness. Shout out my boy, Walter Clayton. Exceptional in his brief stint. They didn't need much, man. By the way, Walker Kessler, 2 of 2 from 3. Interesting to see. Marketing couldn't miss. Svi Mykhailiuk got the spot start. He was 3 for 4 from 3. I didn't expect Charlotte to bludgeon the Nets, but when those two teams play, anything can happen. Knicks beating the Cavs was kind of surprising. Obviously, no Darius Garland for the Cavs, no DeAndre Hunter for the Cavs, Ty Jerome's gone. Knicks are obviously missing people too, but I wasn't a huge fan of the Knicks for yesterday. They ended up looking pretty darn good. Donovan Mitchell was fine. OG was ultra efficient. Towns was ultra efficient. Bridges was ultra efficient. Toronto beating the brakes off of Atlanta is not something that I was expecting from this Atlanta team, especially while they're full strength. Like, Scotty Barnes was really good, 9 of 14 from the field, didn't force any threes. This is something that I don't think will work long term for Toronto, but Scotty Barnes didn't take a 3. RJ Barrett took 4. Quickly was 0 for 7. Brandon Ingram took 2. Obviously, Jakob Poeltl doesn't take them. 13 3-point attempts from the starters. They only made 2 of them, and they won by 20. Something in that recipe doesn't make a ton of sense to me. That's weird. Philly, Boston. Can we... It was not a Joel Embiid day. I did play a decent chunk of Dominic Barlow. He ended up being pretty solid, but 20 minutes for Embiid, 4 points, 6 boards, 2 assists, and a block. Yeah, I deserve that one, Dangerous Dave. Don't play Vooch, he says. Play Embiid, he says. Now, Embiid was more of a vibes thing for me. You know, it's like, all right, if he can be healthy for the first game, I don't care if he's hurt tomorrow. I just need it for today. Well, he's hurt today, too, because he just stinks. Vooch is an enigma, man. That guy's a wild boy. I mean, for Chicago's sake, hopefully he plays well and they can trade him, but they don't ever trade anybody. And when they do, they lose the trade. Yeah. Bulls beat the Pistons. Good. That's a really good win for the Bulls. Now, I am low on the Pistons. This is not a team that I had a lot of excitement for, but I like them more than the Bulls. Bulls picked up that win at home. Memphis beat the Pels. Nothing really surprising there. Neither one of those teams is any good. Shout out Sadiq Bey. Giannis confirmed really good at basketball. Wizards confirmed not. And then Victor Wembanyama might be the best basketball player on the planet right now. Oh, Dave, I know you're messing, man. I know you're messing. We're good. Wemby had 14 points, 15 boards, an assist, a steal, and 3 blocks. 14 of 19 from 2. Only had to take 2 threes. Didn't matter. 80% true shooting for the best defensive player on the planet. That is going to be a death sentence for the rest of the league, man. If they can just move these pieces around, or if like Stephon Castle learns how to shoot, they are going to be deadly. Deadly. And then finally, the Suns and Kings played. I'm going to be honest with you, don't know a damn thing that happened in this one other than Nick Clifford getting the start. And then Minnesota ended up getting it done against the Blazers. I really do like that Blazers defense. Offensively, they're going to be pretty damn bad. Shout out bench Jeremy Grant. Just want to take a walk through the league for today because we've got 2 games. I'm not going to struggle to get through it. The Warriors have already played. We don't have a ton to like think about there. The Thunder have already played. No Caruso for today, obviously, but let's run a contest. Let's see what the Sims are spitting out right now, and then we'll dig into anything that stands out. If you're here, guys, hit that like button. NBA is here, and we're going to be able to slowly work our way into being comfortable. That's going to be nice. Well, let's look at some rates. Let's look at some players. Let's have some fun for today. You guys can see it on the screen right now. I'll make this quite a bit bigger for y'all. Oh, too big. That's what she said. SGA currently your highest owned player on the slate. 51% ownership in the pool right here. Benedict Mathurin, second. Jimmy Butler, third. Those are the 3 guys north of 40%. And then we've got a pack of 10 dudes in the 30s. As I mentioned before, Alex Caruso got put into the concussion protocol yesterday, so he is not going to be playing. Add him to the list of like 1,000 Thunder dudes that are hurt right now. One second, guys. Perfect. All right. Simulation is done. By the way, you can get the simulation that I have on the screen right now and these tools by clicking the link in the description and signing up using the promo code OKC. The $1 promo is gone. We had that for the first 2 days. You guys can still get 20% off using the promo code OKC on any NBA package. That will get you everything you see me do on the screen today inside our simulation package. Chris G, how did I do yesterday? Not well. I'll pull it up in the post-contest sims after this. I had too much Embiid. I was willing to go that direction yesterday to try to be a little bit different. I did have enough Wemby. I had a lot of Walter Clayton. Obviously, I had all the PJ Washington, but just couldn't fit a couple of those other pieces together. So I was down pretty significantly yesterday. Opening night was good. Yesterday was bad. Didn't hate the post-contest sims, but all right, we're going to take the top 150 in the sims right now. No uniques, no anything. Let's just see what's at the top. And we have a lot of positive leverage options coming out of the sims right now. Let's talk through them. The first one up, and I think this one makes a ton of sense. It's Jalen Williams with a Y. He's 3,200. He's center only today. The reason we're seeing him pop up like this, I think, has a lot to do with the fact that Alex Caruso is not going to be able to play in this one. With no Caruso here, you can play Jalen Williams alongside Chet. You can play Jalen Williams alongside Isaiah Hartenstein, honestly. He played like 12 minutes, I think, something in the neighborhood in the opener. If he can get to 17 or 18 today just to soak up some extra time, he's good when he plays. He's just like wildly, he's a luxury item for this team. But at 3,200 on a 2-gamer, you know he's going to be out there. He has the ability to play a little bit more. Obviously, if like Isaiah Hartenstein gets into any foul trouble, that's a direct benefit to Jalen Williams. I just like this value. I'm not surprised at all to see him jump to the top of the leverage coming out of the first run of sims. What do you guys think of J-Dub with a Y today? Double J-Dubs. This one's got a Y. John C. Yeah, I mean, I still think the Clippers are going to be good and the Jazz are going to be terrible, but I mean, anybody in chat, feel free to raise your hand if you expected the Jazz to beat the brakes off the Clippers yesterday. I'm going to assume that's a very minimal amount of people. I think we'll look back at that in a month and wonder how the hell that happened. Shit, that coffee's too hot. All right, a couple more leverage plays. We had two other guys north of 20% of their projected ownership. One of them is Aaron Wiggins. So back to OKC, 4,200 small forward, power forward on DraftKings today. He's another guy that's just going to benefit from Alex Caruso not being there. Someone has to soak up those minutes. There's like an extra 20 minutes to go around in their rotation today. Everybody's going to pick up a couple, and obviously, like, SGA isn't the type of guy that's, like, now going to play 40. So, Aaron Wiggins is stepping into that space as well. That makes a ton of sense to me. The other guy that we're massively over the field on, stop me if you've heard this name before. I think you guys will understand it, but it's a big stand on an $11,500 Nikola Jokic. Why not, man? Why not? I mean, he's Nikola Jokic on a 2-gamer. Look at the salary structure today. Next closest guy is Shea at 10.5. And we can have a conversation about what those two guys look like. Shea right now is 50% owned. Jokic is 35. Now you got to pay the extra 1,000 for it, but I don't mind being 10% light on Shea to get myself 20% more of Jokic. Sign me up for that. Steph Curry is your third most expensive guy at 9K. So think about the gap in price at the top. 11.5, 10.5, 9K. Now look at the ownership on these guys. 52 and 34. It's 86. Stack on another 26 for Steph. And for the most part, the construction of these lineups is like one of those top three guys. Maybe two if you find enough value. So you're really trying to figure out a choice here. Because, I mean, you can see the total in our exposures, too. 103 to Jokic and SGA, 13 more to Curry. We're basically trying to fit like 1.2 of Jokic, SGA, and Curry into one spot. That seems to be the structure that we're looking at right now. A couple other positive value options. Lou Dort on the OKC side. Jamal Murray, Case and Wallace. But what we want to see right now are the negatives. Two big ones. Aaron Nesmith, Obi Toppin. I don't think like there's anything super interesting about Nesmith here. I kind of like the other Pacers guys to benefit more than Nesmith would be the guy. But I also think that Aaron Nesmith's really good. Obi Toppin as well, big fade. In theory, he can fall into more minutes. I don't really like, you know what he's going to get in the regular season from a playing time perspective. But now there's no Miles Turner there. So they're rotating through just a bunch of clowns. I mean, I like Jay Huff, but Jay Huff, Isaiah Jackson coming back from an Achilles. James Wiseman is on this team, right? Tony Bradley. Like, they all stink. Are they going to go to more Obi Toppin at the 5? Based on our projections right now, a power forward only Obi Toppin at 5,200 is our second biggest negative leverage play in our top 150 lineups. A little lighter on Steph, a little lighter on Nembhard, which I want to have a conversation about in a second. Very light on Isaiah Jackson on his way back. But Isaiah Jackson is heavy in the pockets right now since he got his extension coming off of that Achilles tear. I want to have a conversation about Andrew Nembhard for today, guys. Let me pull up the boom bust tool and see how he grades out relative to the rest of the people at his position. And then I want to point out some Andrew Nembhard news and notes. S&P, I agree. Jay, you're not going to get any J Huff slander here. All right, let's just mark out point guards so we can see Nembhard. Nembhard is point guard, shooting guard eligible. Let's compare him to everybody we can. All right, that's all the guards. Andrew Nembhard, 6,400. We got him projected for about 30 fantasy points. 25% owned, 25% optimal, 14% boom. This is what we need to look at for Mr. Nembhard here. Let's take a look at it. The Indiana Pacers last season. We'll just look at them in general. We'll say, let me set a very easy threshold here. All right, let me make that bigger. So last year, Andrew Nembhard played 1,800 minutes for the whole season. 16.7% usage rate. Keep that in mind. 16. His assists per 100 possessions, 8. Now, if I just go up here and take off TJ McConnell and Tyrese Halliburton, when Andrew Nembhard doesn't have another ball handler on the floor with him in that vein, that assist rate jumps to 12 per 100 possessions. 8 and change to 12. Similarly, if we take a look at his scoring in that sample, and if I added in the year before, we'd see much of the same. Andrew Nembhard usage, 23% usage with no TJ McConnell and no Tyrese Halliburton on the floor. This guy plays completely different when he doesn't have another primary ball handler like that. It hasn't been Mathurin. It's McConnell and Halliburton. Andrew Nembhard's a different player this year. And I want to be very aware of that as we work our way through this day and through the beginning of the season. I tweeted about it 2 days ago. I do find him very interesting as a most improved player because his raw stats are going to go up across the board. He's going to go from averaging, I don't know what it is, but I'm just going to pick a number, 14 points to like 18 or 19. He's going to go from averaging 4 assists to 6 assists. That's a pretty big jump optically for the stats that people look at. Kind of like it. Kind of like it. Let's see what the top simulated lineup was to start the day. Nembhard, Dort, Cam Johnson, Chet, Jalen Williams with a Y, Christian Brown, Kuminga, Jokic. There's not a single thing in there where I'm like, ooh. Like sometimes when you see some of these lineups sneak to the top, you get one of those like, I got to get this guy right today. You know, like a Gary Payton or Will Richard or something. I like every name in that lineup. I'm not concerned with anyone's playing time today. We've got guys stepping into new roles. Someone like Cam Johnson, I'm super high on this year because I think that what Nikola Jokic does for people really gets lost on the mind. You become a different person getting to play alongside of him. You'll take more open shots than you'll ever take with anybody else. So I'm a big Cam Johnson believer. Chet looked great in the opener. I mean, Christian Brown just got paid. Maybe he doesn't want to go so hard, but I like that top lineup. Post is better than Huff today. That would surprise me. That would surprise me. Yeah, Swish Sanders, you're saying it perfect, I think. If you ever can make it, or if you ever enjoyed playing MPJ last year, get ready to love Cam Johnson. Yeah, I agree. I agree. All right, let's see what happens to some of these exposures if I trim some of these lineups. So I'm going to sort it by ownership. We're just going to get ourselves a little different here. I'm going to get rid of the top 300 lineups in aggregate ownership. So I'm going to set a filter to only look at lineups under 268.8 in ownership. Just to like try to figure out who are the guys that we can get to that are a little bit more off the beaten path, because this will take a chunk out of like the heavy chalk. How do the exposures change? So it's still that big stand on J-Dub, Jokic, Dort, Wiggins, Jamal Murray. I'm guessing the bottom is even more extreme. Nope, still just top. Okay. The third biggest fade by taking that big chunk of ownership out ends up being Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. Massive, and you can see it sort of in the leverage. Massive stand to Jokic, under SGA, under Steph. We don't really make that up too much in the top until we get to Jamal Murray and Draymond. Jay McGinnis, yes, Valley Forge, PA. Yeah, I mean, Siakam will absolutely have the ball in his hands more for right now. That go like just by default. Everybody's gonna have the ball a little bit more now. S&P, I agree. I mean, ultimately, you hope that Mathurin looks kind of good here, and then you trade him and just cash him in now, because I don't think they're going to keep him. Like, for what they're going to pay him, I don't think that's the guy that stays. All right, Steve, let's have that conversation, because it's a real one for today. Let me pull it up in the Boom Bust tool. The question from Steven Leibowitz is, any thought on the backup point guard minutes for the Pacers? That's a real conversation point right now. Because obviously Halliburton is out. TJ McConnell is out. So they've got Ray J. Dennis, Talon Peter. I don't think that either one of those guys are going to get enough minutes to matter today. I think they're just going to do a little bit more by committee, where it's Nembhard, it's Mathurin, Johnny Furphy handles it a bit. Jarris Walker does a little more creation. Siakam gets into the mix a little bit more. We have Ray J. Dennis projected for 3.5 fantasy points. I'll sort it the opposite direction. We have Ray J. Dennis projected for 3.5 fantasy points. We got Talon Peter in for a minute. I don't think that we can go that direction. For once, I agree with Antoine Murphy here. Furphy and Walker get slight bumps for that. Not that either one of them look good either. But less than 1% optimal chance for Walker. Around 7 for Furphy. He appears to be the guy a little bit more interesting in that regard. Walker only power forward eligible too. That's kind of annoying. But just looking at the boom bust tool for this team, highest owned guy is Mathurin at 42%, shooting guard small forward eligible 6K. That's not surprising. This is the guy that's going to try to attack downhill a lot. And he's going to be able to explore the studio space a lot more now with Halliburton out for the year. Sure, obviously Siakam looks solid, but there's not a ton of value there. I'm going to bounce over to the FanDuel side and look at Indy, and we can bounce back and forth between FanDuel and DraftKings right now to just take a look at these individual teams. Highest owned guy on FanDuel, very different conversation here. Now, obviously, ownership will be just by default higher overall on FanDuel. They have an extra roster spot, so you're spreading 100% across, the rest of those guys, but 47% ownership right now to Mathurin on the FanDuel side at 5,900. He is the most owned guy there. We've got him at 45% optimal, so right with the field. And then Nembhard on FanDuel at 6,200, 40% owned, 40% optimal. Both look totally fine. Not a ton of wild leverage swings here. I would say that it is at least a little interesting to me looking at this mid-range of how do you pick in that, out of that trio of 40% optimal guys, who do you feel the best about for the Pacers today? I tend to think it's Nembhard. Matchup-wise, that's a little dependent. This doesn't strike me as the best matchup in the world for Pascal Siakam in this spot, but he's a, legit third team-ish all-NBA guy, so I don't think matchup matters too much in the first game of the regular season, but there's also a bit of value on Isaiah Jackson. Now, I'm going to be honest, that scares the hell out of me. 4,300 center only. Appears to be the first guy up. I think Jay Huff is better than Isaiah Jackson. That's the guy that I would want out there personally. So I'd love to roll the dice a little bit more on Jay Huff. Certainly if the ownership numbers are 4-1 Jackson to Huff, I think there's something there, but probably not the right guys to get bogged down on. S&P, I think they're going to do it, but I don't think they're going to do it a lot. It's not like Jokic is mobile, maybe if you want to do it against Houston, I could see it. But why do you want Joval out there to make it worse? Where do you put these guys? I don't think you can maximize Joval and Jokic together, but I'd be happy to be wrong. It's Jokic. If anybody can figure it out, it's him. All right, let's look on the FanDuel side, opposite of this game. Let's look at Denver. On FanDuel, Denver, Jokic, 12,100. But we've got 4 guys on the Denver side in their starting lineup, all projected for 30% ownership and basically 30% optimal. Jokic, Murray, Cam Johnson, Christian Brown, They're all basically 30% owned. They're all basically 30% optimal. Each one of them's hitting a different salary tier and positional structure. But ultimately in the data, relative to each other, they all look pretty damn similar. Obviously, Jokic stands out from like a raw points perspective. But if you're asking me which guy I like the most in that trio, it's Cam Johnson, and it's not close. Not much else there, though, from Denver. You know, like Aaron Gordon doesn't strike me as a guy I want to get to a bunch of on a day like today. He's 15% owned. Welcome back, Bruce Brown, I guess. The MPE looks good. I think he's going to look rejuvenated, or at least I hope that he looks rejuvenated now being back here with Jokic. I mean, he kind of just had to go and get that money. There was no real scenario where he could have come back to Denver when he was a free agent. So it's great that he got the bag, but like, I don't think he wanted to go to, well, Indiana and Toronto. Like he just wanted to stay here. He just couldn't. So I think it's nice that he's back. I hope that makes him feel a little bit better. Should we have a Joval conversation? Because he's 4K. Let's say Jokic plays 34 minutes. Is 14 minutes of Joval today against the Pacers? Like, is that enough? I think it is. I really do think that it is. What is Joval's price on DraftKings today? 4,600. All right, that's a little too high. Because yeah, it's a little too high. But could he be sneaky? I don't know. What did I think of the Christian Brown contract? A little rich for me. I think he's a good player. I would have let him get to restricted free agency and just said, go get a deal and we'll figure it out. I don't know why you need to lock that in. Like, that's not. It's an overpay. It's an overpay. He's really good. But I don't think they needed to do that. But that's what the Nuggets do. They give these guys these contracts too early and too much. I mean, we're seeing it now with Jamal Murray. It's probably one of the worst contracts in the league. Didn't need to give it to him at that time. Yeah, I don't know. I would have waited that out. Like, they didn't have to lose him. He wasn't going anywhere. I said it on the FanDuel screen. I'm going to say it here on the DraftKings screen as well. If I'm taking someone in that Christian Brown, Cam Johnson, Jamal Murray trio here, it's Cam Johnson by a mile. Our priors for Cam Johnson need to change because of Nikola Jokic. Bottom of these guys, though, like, your guess is as good as mine in that Bruce Brown, Peyton Watson, Tim Hardaway Jr. trio. I tend to lean to Bruce Brown here because I think he's just sort of like the easiest one. But, you know, there's going to be days where Tim Hardaway Jr. just goes bonkers. Did not have Chauncey Billups in bed with the New York Mob to manipulate Texas Hold'em games on my bingo card. Yeah, I don't think anybody had that one. That's got to be some new style of bingo. Oh, they got Damon Jones too? Man, it always comes in threes. I can't believe they were able to get Damon Jones. Who could have seen that? That's... Whew, he's been eluding. All right, let's look at the other two teams in the boom bust. Then we'll run some sims. Maybe we'll build some individual lineups. OKC, you know, we got 5 guys projected in and around that like 35% range. Wiggins, Wallace, Dort, Chet, Isaiah Hartenstein. I think AJ Mitchell's pretty sneaky for today. We've already had a little bit of a conversation on Jalen Williams with a Y. Jose Morales wants to know if I think that Kuminga's starting again. I assume so, but I think they're going to move that starting lineup around a lot as well. they're very live to just start Horford in that spot today, and then Kuminga starts tomorrow. I think they're on a back-to-back. That seems possible for today. Not something that's gonna like play a huge role for me, but we'll know. Well, I guess we won't, but you know. Who's your favorite pay up today, guys? Jokic, SGA, Steph. Who are you expecting to anchor around? Let's look at OKC on the FanDuel end. 4 dudes in 30. No, that's still Denver. I was wondering why that looked identical to the thing I just said. Damn, Steph is 8,400 on FanDuel. What are we doing here? 55% ownership to Steph, 55% optimal on FanDuel. That's a stupid price tag. Jimmy Butler, 8,100, also 50% owned on FanDuel. Third highest owned guy on the FanDuel side for the Warriors is Brandon Pajemski at 5,600. It's got to just be a position thing for today. There's no reason he should be that disproportionately high compared to someone like Draymond. Point guard, shooting guard must be ultra shit on FanDuel today if that's what's happening here. Do we think the winning lineup could have Jamal Murray in it? Yeah, of course. I mean, Jamal Murray is a notoriously dog shit player in October and November. I wonder if that's how visible that is. I think Basketball Reference has player splits by month. I wonder if you can see it, because I know that it's true. All right. Let's see how it looks in the data. Career month of October, true shooting, 502. Career true shooting in November, 53%. December, 56. January, 58. February, 61. March back down to 57. April, 58. This dude has been dog shit in October and November for his career at this point. He is shooting 31% from 3 in 33 October career games. Doesn't get much better in November, but he does sneak back up towards league average. Jamal Murray's like an 84 Plymouth, man. You got to start that joint like 20 minutes before you want to like get out and drive it around. If it's the winter, man, you got to thaw that bad boy. Yeah, remember, it's Denver, man. There's snow and stuff around. He's got to warm up a little bit. All right, I can't help myself at this point. I want to build some lineups. We're in the single lineup simulator. This is one of the tools you get when you sign up using the promo code OKC and get that 20% off either an NBA specific package or an all access package. That'll cover NFL. We got NFL tonight. It's Thursday Night Football. Obviously, we have it on Sunday as well. MMA, PGA, NASCAR, NHL projections exist as well. Shout out Jake Hari. Come on in for 20% off. Again, just click the link in the description. It's very, very easy to do. All right, let's build it. Let's build it. You know what we're going to do? I'm going to preview a little bit what is going to become the starting 5. My new video. We're going to pick a point guard, a shooting guard, a small forward, a power forward, and a center. And we're going to see what different 3v3 combinations look like to fill out the rest of the lineup. So, at point guard, if we sort by value, the number 1 value point guard is SGA. Cason Wallace is interesting. It is pretty uniform towards value right now. I'm going to go with Cason Wallace to start. And then at shooting guard, I'm going to go to Christian Brown. At small forward, I'm going to go to Aaron Wiggins. That's leading me to believe we're not going to get SGA in this lineup. At power forward, I'm absolutely putting in Cam Johnson. I'm just very high on him so far. So that's 2 OKC, 2 Denver. We get to the center spot. I'm going to lock in Nikola Jokic. So I'm going to lock those 5 guys. We have 18,600 remaining to fill out the rest of this lineup. Let's see what some different 3v3s look like and what the impact is to sim ROI when we run them. So the first thing we'll do is just take the 3 optimals. That ends up being Benedict Mathurin, Pascal Siakam, and Lou Dort. So in this lineup, we don't have a Golden State Warrior. 257.4 projection, 273 ownership. Let's see what it looks like. Starting 5, volume 1. Okay. 47% sim ROI, 0.2% chance to win, 37% cash rate. That's our first draft. Let's take Dort out, Siakam out, Mathurin out, and I'm going to bump this up to 10% randomness. We'll see if we get a different one to start. Obviously, we can get the same combination with the same randomness. That's not going to help us out at all. Mathurin, Chet, Dort. It's a different lineup. 254.9, 277.8. Let's see what the sim looks like. Hey, guys, this is a good time for me to ask. Sim ROI went down. I'll talk about it in a sec. If you're here, this would help us out tremendously. There should be a link in the description of this video. If there's not, if you guys are interested in tails, we've been talking about it a lot. You know, I could pull it up on the screen for us for a second just to help show my point. But if you're looking for sports betting picks, if you're looking for pick'em information, DFS information, this is a curated group of that stuff. You can go to our free picks feed and you're just going to see a ton of it. Mike has been absolutely smashing with his picks right now. Jake covers hockey as well as anybody you're going to know. We've got a never-ending stream here of people that you're familiar with, people that you're not. But we've got an app on the App Store that has this. This is going to be right at your fingertips. If you guys go and download the Tails app, it would mean the world to us if you could leave us a review. Be honest, you know, I'd love for it to be a 5-star review because you guys like it. But if you guys can click on the link in the description, download that Tails app and leave a review for us. The more reviews we can get there, the better it is for us. It's a really helpful mechanism there. And we're trying to make Tails sick. We want this to be the one-stop shop for you guys to find this type of sports information. We're building it out more and more every day. If you guys can leave that review, it's going to take you guys like a minute to do it, and it pays really big dividends for us. We don't ask for a lot. This is totally free, but it would help us out a ton. Thank you. So the Mathurin, Chet, Dort trio ended up bringing us down in sim ROI. So that is not the one. If we try the 10% randomness again, do we get anybody different? Mathurin, Draymond, Pajemski. So think about this. Same 5-man core. Now we've got Mathurin. We had no Golden State Warriors to start. Now we've got 2 of them in Pods and Draymond. 252 projection, 269 ownership. Chris Longo says, what's a very good ROI? Every single thing here is slate dependent. There's no such thing as this is good, this is bad. There's no right answer or wrong answer. You're just hoping it's positive. And then you're paying attention to the rest of the metrics and comparing them to other lineups that you've built. You start to build a little bit of context in that. Benny, Jake is crushing hockey bets to start the season. So if that's true, you picked like the 10 that he lost. Oh, by the way, we got to talk about the schedule for the rest of the day. I don't want you guys to forget, we have a massive amount of content today. Coming up after this, Thursday Night Football is tonight. Laffy and Spags have the NFL strategy show to break it down. We just got done talking about hockey and Jake Hari. Well, he's not on this show, but there is an NHL strategy show today at 1:30. I will be back for Live Before Lock from 6:30 to 7:30 with your pal, with your pal Eric Lindquist, not Eric McPherson. Different pals here. And then NFL Live Before Lock with Lofty and Greg at 7:30. So no deeper dive tonight because of NFL. Just an hour of football, or just an hour of NBA Live Before Lock with myself and Eric. Don't want to miss it. So Mathurin, Draymond, Pods, not the trio we're looking for. Let's try another 10%. Nembhard, Draymond, Mathurin. So still one Warrior. We leave $100 on the table. Let's see what this one looks like. This is what we can do with the starting five. We can get one 5-man core and take a look at 5 different lineups that end up being unique for you. We jumped this one back up. This is the first one we've made that wasn't the optimal, that ends up looking a little bit better. 27% sim ROI. That's going to be Wallace, Nembhard, Wiggins, Draymond, Jokic, Mathurin, Cam Johnson, Christian Brown. Jordan L. Yeah, we did play back last night. We won't do it today. Obviously, we can't do it for national TV games. But Greg and I will be on Friday. So Friday from 7 to 8 for sure. All right, we're going to do this a slightly different way. We're going to build another starting 5. But chat, I'm going to leave it up to you guys for every position. So we're going to move quick. Just get your answers in chat, and I'll pick whatever name I see the most. Who do we want to put in first at point guard? Drop your answers into chat. I'll load that guy in, and we'll move our way on to shooting guard. But give me the point guard first. Who are we locking in? Swish. Yeah, we'll have 100 all year. Shea, Jamal, Shea. That'll do it. SGA is in. Shooting guard. Nembhard, Murray, Nembhard, Jamal. This was coming from point guard, obviously. So, got about 12 minutes to go before we turn this one over to the NFL show. What would you guys like to do at the shooting guard spot now? SGA locked in at point guard. I have a feeling this is going to end up being Nembhard. There's a Nembhard. There's a Nembhard. 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 Now that's just CJ saying Nembhard again. Thanks, buddy. Chris says Nembhard. All right, Nembhard in. Next up, small forward. Which direction do you guys want to go at the small forward spot for this lineup? Tony Ripa, Cam Johnson. It helps to switch positions. Some of these guys will be a little different. CJ wants Cam Johnson. You know I do, so my vote is also Cam Johnson. All right, Steven Leibowitz is healed. Coach Chris wants Mathurin. Crispy's delayed. Got another Cam. Let's go Cam Johnson. On to power forward now. This is where I'm expecting to see you guys say a couple different names. I think you guys are going to be all over the map at power forward. Chris Longo says OKC. Coach Chris wants Aaron Gordon. Yeah, see, this is where it's getting weird. Gordon, Wiggins, Siakam, Jimmy, Toppin. There's another Gordon, I guess. See, I knew we were going to be all spread out of power forward. This seems to be the spot that's toughest to nail down. Kaminga, there's enough Gordons now that we're going to go Aaron Gordon, and we haven't really talked about him much. And then finally at center, I'm just going to let you guys know right now, just don't pick Jokic. That's not going to work. So we need a center that isn't Nikola Jokic. As much as I would love to be able to play this lineup with $75,000 in salary, that's not how this works. Jalen with a Y. Chet. It's Jalen Williams. Come on down. All right, 5-man lineup is locked. This is our starting 5. SGA, Andrew Nembhard, Cam Johnson, Aaron Gordon, Jalen Williams with a Y. We have $6,100 in salary for each remaining spot in the lineup. 18,300 left. I'm going to use no randomness. The optimal 3 plays that go into this lineup are Cason Wallace, Jimmy Butler, Isaiah Hartenstein. That ownership number is quite a bit lower than it had been before, but so are the raw points. We'll see what the relationship ends up being. Okay. That's not too bad. For a 2-game slate, we got to 25% sim ROI, 0.2% chance to win, and a 30% cash rate. Let's see what this wiggles for. Let's take these guys out. Let's slap a 10. Actually, you know what? I'm going to complete that lineup and run it again. I want to save this. Close enough. All right. Now that we have that baseline lineup there, I want to make sure that we have something to compare it to. So we'll take these 3 guys out. We'll bump that up to 10% randomness. We'll complete the lineup. Mathurin, Green, Hartenstein. So that is a different trio. Prior to that, we had Isaiah Hartenstein there, but this is a 2v2 now for Wallace Butler versus Mathurin Green. Let's see what it looks like. We cut the ownership down, but not the projection. This is going to go up. This is going to be in the 40s. 37.8. That's close enough. 0.2% chance to win. 31% cash rate. Immediately could see it. And I'll try to outline it on the screen as best I can here. You can see it here in this section. The baseline lineup had 253.5 fantasy points, 253.5 ownership points. We only gave up 0.3 of a point in lineup 2, but we shaved 9% ownership. That's a trade-off I want to take, and that's why we saw that lineup go up in sim ROI. That's sort of what we're trying to do at all times. So let's take those 3 guys out again one last time, and we'll randomize with 10% randomness again. Wallace, Butler, Hartenstein. That's the first one, right? Yeah. There's probably not a ton of different combinations of stuff here at 10%. Wallace, Butler, Green. That wasn't it, right? Okay, that one is different. Wallace, Butler, Green is the third trio here. Now, look at you should be able to tell exactly what's going to happen here. We gave up 2.3 fantasy points and went up in ownership. Right out of the gate, I am pretty confident this will either be single digits or negative. Negative 6% sim ROI. We knew what was coming here. We knew exactly what was coming here. Let's complete this lineup. Dort, Kuminga, Pascal Siakam. Now that is completely different than what we've had before. Spends the full bag. But look at the projection, 252.78. So we're still only a half point away from that second lineup. And we've cut another 7% of ownership. This is going to be better than the second one. This is going to be in the mid 40s to 50. Stu, just 30. I bet if I ran that again, it'll show up. But still, we found a core. We found a core that we like. SGA, Nembhard, Cam Johnson, Jalen Williams with a Y, Aaron Gordon. We can iterate on that and have a lineup where, yeah, we have these 5 guys, but we also have a full 3v3 with multiple other paths at this. And that's what I like to do here in this single lineup simulator, is find out the different ways that we can just give up a little bit of fantasy points, but find a big chunk of ownership that we can get back. That's my goal when I'm using these tools. We got a fun night tonight. We got a lot of content to come. Now that I don't have to get through 12 rotations today, Please keep your eyes peeled to my Twitter at Josh Engleman or to Tails, and both optimally. I'm going to be posting a bunch of stuff today to Tails, finally. It took me a little bit longer to get through this than I thought it was going to, but NBA contenders, my top plays for DraftKings and FanDuel will be up early this afternoon. Perfect lineup for Thursday night football will be out early this afternoon. Keep your eyes peeled for that. And then later tonight, 6:30. Remember, lock is at 7:30 tonight. 6:30 Eastern time, no deeper dive tonight. Myself and Eric Lindquist are going to break this bad boy down. I hope you guys have an awesome day. Very happy to have the NBA back. I hope you won some money yesterday. Let's win some money tonight, everybody. Sign up at Stokastic. The promo code is OKC. 20% off any NBA or all access monthly package.